they have Batrider, which is a hero that can deal with Brood. The only issue with Vici is that they don't have a method of easily pushing towers, so they need to ensure that the Broodmother doesn't run rampant. If they can do that, they have a decent shot, especially if they get a favorable exchange. Now they're on the high ground, so they might be able to take out AA.
A Broodmother not running rampant. Yeah, Vici Gaming, okay, what have we got? We've got no glimpses, we've got no punishments, like, Bane cannot reach him for a Nightmare positioner, so it's just going to be what it is. Vici Gaming actually commit both Observer Wars to the southern side of this map around the ramp areas.
Both teams smoked there because vision is so important. You need to get favorable matchups for your Broodmother, and Vici wants the bat against him in lane. You cannot play OD very well against Broodmother, and you can't play Weaver at all. So as you can see, they put 11 mid, and I expect Ramses to possibly switch this around because you do not want to play Brood against Bat. And you can see Vici they can't have unfavorable lanes here or they're in trouble.
Yep. So they just keep the rotations going. So as far as laning phase, it will be Ori and Lanham. There's OD and ET combination on the bottom lane going against what is a solo no one. So it's a solo Death Prophet on that bottom lane. Ramses mid Broodmother, no surprise whatsoever. Up against 11, he already predicted the lane by having that stick come out to him. So Ramses will have a large amount of regeneration. Ancient Apparition is currently running around with Fenrir around the Roche pit. So currently the floating supports. Roger's managed to pull the creep wave on top, so he's the SK on the north lane. And then Pasha and Paparazzi are battling almost underneath the tier 1 tower on the north. If he's not careful, Fenrir will be able to wrap up around the side, and then they're going to team up to try and find this kill. They went for Nightmare build over on Fenrir, combining with the Beatles, so negative armor will be quite high, and Pasha has no way out this one. Vici Gaming, they will find the kill. Much to the delight of this crowd.
The only real issue with Vici's draft is they don't have natural methods of tower push.
That's a lot of damage coming in from Lanham. He had all of that damage stolen.
And I gotta say, Lanham's been underperforming a bit at this tournament, but...
Ramses? He's actually in trouble as well. That's 6 sticky napalm charges on him, but the Firefly was just wearing off for 11.
Lanham earned his nickname by playing this hero and smacking people in the mouth. Mid is going to do okay, but the lack of natural tower push is really what Vici needs to compensate for. They can't lose early towers to this DP Pugnant Brood pressure with no response.
Now there's a great way to do it. You just keep doing the stacks on this bottom lane and just let him use his spirit to steal more and more and more. And then he'll have all the damage to beat the crap out of the tier 1 tower on the bottom lane. You can see Vici Gaming getting the momentum into Paparazzi. If he can get a good start, if this Desolator can arrive at a good time, then you're going to get the tower kill that you're looking for. It's very, very single target, but that's okay if you're just looking to beat down buildings.
They need to get their core items up and get into the late game because that's where the ET really shines. Broodmother is a hero that wants to win the game in the mid game, not push all the way to like 40, 45 minutes. That's where you start to fall off really hard, especially against a hero like Batrider, that the entire game can just lasso you. And if you look at Vici's lineup, there's no real save.
He's coming for another kill, plus 72 damage thanks to all the stacks, but Solo, he was here ready to fight. Roger rotated over, but they didn't keep enough control on Lanham. Rather difficult when he's got that high movement speed. But you can see just how effective this ET support and bottom lane can be to create space. Pasha on the run on the top lane, back under the tier 1 tower. And Decrepifying Salve and just gets his space, but this is definitely a rough lane for a Pugna.
Definitely. I mean, Vici doing very well in the lanes, though. If you look mid, they're winning every lane right now.
Lanham, Solar, found him in the trees. Thought he was okay, but that Observer Ward that was planted down gave Solo all the information he required. And he's not just going to run down. In fact, he waits for 11 to show himself again in the mid, and then will make his way out.
It's just a patch. There's no way it's worth for a Batrider to chase an AA, even if a kill's guaranteed. He'd lose so much by just not staying in mid, so Solo just wisely runs up and waits a bit.
This Broodmother's starting to get up in levels. I'm wondering just how long Batrider can keep this fight going. Every time Firefly gets burned, it feels like he's just susceptible to the kill.
It's an interesting game. Like, VP has comfort heroes on every player, and they have the ability to play far more aggressively. Haste rune on Bat, though. This is a huge rune. They need to land a kill on this Brood with it.
Well, if they can right now, everyone else is focusing in the bottom river. You've got support, the form of Solo, the cold feed, it'll latch and Burrow Strike follow-up. You can say goodbye to that ET. Ori's keeping the fight going. There's a couple of one charges. Roger just needs to survive long enough to stay close enough to get this Burrow Strike off so no one can get in range. Spirit Siphons or whatever, throw everything you've got.
11.
Roger will claim the double kill and OD will fall.
What's 11 doing? He had a haste rune that whole time.
Yeah, he actually had it triggered as well.
They had vision, like they know they're sticking around. He's getting multiple kills at least. Also choosing to go for a max Firefly skip Flame Break build, which I strongly disagree with. I think you have to max Napalm and play aggressively with the Flame Break. That's what actually allows you to land kills in this early game, specifically on a hero like Brood. He's just going for like a farming build, and already Ramses overtakes him in CS because he doesn't actually have the ability to pressure him out of the lane.
I'm wondering actually how much experience 11 has playing this matchup in mid and against Broodmother. This is something which I don't know how often he's been pushed into. There's the Firefly bait once more. We've seen Ramses do this time and time again when he does these mid Broods. Attacks up a little bit, forces up. Batrider's Firefly, and then that's the defense gone. Everything else, like diving into towns, is really easy when you got that army of Spiderlings ready to go.
Dude, and 11 bought Tranquil Boots.
Yeah, he bought Tranquils.
You're not off lane. This is a mid bat.
How to start Kyle's morning. Roger can't make it close enough to get the Burrow Strike out over on Lanham. I think he's still going to be cautious with this double stack just off to the side. Lanham's trying to steal so much damage that he can just beat into the support's top lane. Pasha, did he just juke that around the tree line? Fenrir will now finally find him, but he's too back. He's close to the tier 1 tower. So Paparazzi not trying to force any kind of issue with it.
It's the strength of this Pugna off lane. Yeah, you might kill him once or twice, but you can't actually threaten him. And he's getting his levels, and in the meantime, what does it really matter even if he leaves this lane to a Weaver? Like, there's no... It doesn't matter if Weaver gets any items. There's a Broodmother in the game.
You remember that game that happened
when did the tower die?
In Katowice? Yeah, he's gone through it. In that game in Katowice, it was 9 minutes when Ramses was pushing high ground. Now he's just hunting 11, pushing him away to the bottom tier 2 tower. And it takes Ramses almost no time just to rotate back in towards mid and keep the pressure on the buildings.
I gotta actually go back and agree with our panel. It looks like that Broodmother... Oh my god, that Broodmother just... It has crushed Vici's spirits.
Yep.
And I don't know how you recover in this game already. Like Ramses is the key player on this hero and for his team, and now he's just becoming unstoppable. A medallion and a soul ring up already, 1,000 gold to boot. Like, he can just run over this game because they effectively have nothing to deal with him.
Yep. It's like, what do you do to rotate in extra support? The Burrow Strike support is there from Virtus Pro instead. Lanham was optimistically starting off the stomp, but channel time is way too long to help out. Weaver's going to begin his TP in. Roger has Burrow Strike back off cooldown, hits the two of them. Ramses not really ready to fight just yet, but then again, he doesn't have to be. His Spiderlings will do it. Fenrir dying in the back lines, and VG are looking for a target. They've already killed off the SK underneath the shrine, but they have brought every single hero to this mid lane to stop the Broodmother against heroes like Pugna. 3 points up in Netherblast. This T1 tower on top lane won't survive long. Death Prophet just hit level 6. Exorcism will do the push. VG Gaming are just bleeding from all sides and they're out of band-aids.
Oh man, Toby, I was really hoping for an exciting match, and I'm concerned that
this could be quick, dirty.
This is... I don't know if there's like an appropriate Lord of the Rings analogy, because that giant spider would face more of a fight. This is going to be really difficult for Vici to come back, and they need to find kills on this Broodmother, but the draft of VP is so strong because, much like we've discussed, they have these 3 cores, and they can all apply so much pressure through wave clear, and then using that wave clear to kill towers. So even if you kill Brood with 4 heroes, you're losing...
I can give you a Lord of the Rings analogy. This is what the fight should have been. Spider versus Frodo versus Samwise Gamgee. Bullcrap. Those hobbits were meant to die to this. This is how a real Broodmother fights. Not in that freaking tower
It's
fight.
epic fantasy. You got to suspend your disbelief, okay?
Suspend? That entire movie was suspended in nothing but like, well, I can carry you. And I can carry you too. And I can carry you.
Look at, oh my god, look at mid.
Yeah,
Spiders force
lane,
Paparazzi to
11 TP out. Ugh. When Paparazzi has to ulti like that, Decrepify Drain, no other choice but to go into the zone banishment. Ori can come back out. Paparazzi's now TP off the mid lane up towards top. ET's there to support, putting the Spirit out. A lot of negative armor. Burrow Strike. Roger just wants the TP to work, and they don't have a... Yeah, they do have the stun. Just in time for Lana, but Roger hides in the sandstorm. Paparazzi will find him. But meanwhile...
Mid lane.
it's Ramses.
Yep. It's the perfect example of just how to spread the map. Look at the ward solo placed all the way up top by the Dire Shrine. They have great vision. So Broodmother has total control of the bottom shrine area. That ward controls the top. And even though they kill Sand King, DP's still free farming. He's blasting the bottom tower, and the Spider's just
11.
mid.
He's getting the lasso, able to find the Broodmother. VG Gaming, they need this. Ramses up the hill, needs to get rid of the Spiderling, doing his work quickly, but not quick enough. Finally, death to the Brood at 333 gold for 11.
We'll say the build that Ramses is choosing to employ, going for the Orchid, might come back to bite him because you don't have the same defensive capabilities, and it doesn't help your team accelerate and hit this timing where you just go for a high ground. You saw 3-3 going for this Helm of the Dominator pipe. I feel like something like that could have been nice, but it's really just the BKB. And his BKB timing is where they win the game.
In some ways, I can agree with you. In other ways, I can also understand his logic. It's the OD who is very, very underfarmed. He's not going to have anything that's able to resist the silence. And because like the Doom was banned out in the later parts of the draft, you need some level of control against him or control against the Weaver. Because their lockdown stuns, it's kind of just SK.
Yep.
And even Death Prophet has completely bypassed leveling up the silence. It's a 3-0-4-1 build coming in for no one. So this is all great for pushing, it's all great for attack, but you need to have the space creation. You need to have Ramses finding these solo pickoffs as he controls most of the Dire side of the map.
Just, it's going to be so hard for them. They're still in the game, but my big concern is 11. He's running around with, he has an Invis bottle, but he has Blink and Tranquil Boots. So he effectively needs to spend the next 5 to 10 minutes getting a kill every time Lasso is off cooldown on key cores. Brood is not going to fall victim to that same sort of play again. And bottom lane, you have a DP, but there's 2 supports behind him.
Well, Sentry was down. They can see 11, the Burrow Strike. He was meant to be the aggressor. But the Owl gets plucked.
You see Solo not making the same mistake Vici did in their game against Mineski. When they go to push the tower, he's got sentry wards.
See if they could even put another sentry ward up on top of that hill. Rogers moving up underneath the Observer sentry. Actually, they don't have another one with them, Virtus Pro.
You can see the strength. In the meantime, Broodmother just farming. They group up with Pugna DP. They're just, the tower pressure is insane. Look top. What's an OD going to do?
That Orchid's actually coming out in the courier now, too. So it's a 12-minute Orchid for Ramses. If anyone wants to try and fight this, he can just come in and help out and kill him. Nightmare on bottom, locking Pugner in position for half a second. Blink, lasso, now going to go to work. Support needs to be there, but it's not going to be there. They just let Pasha go, Virtus Pro, accepting the casualty of war.
Now there's no lasso. Maybe they look to go Roche. Broodmother can do it very easily with that Orchid Medallion build.
Maybe once you had the Exorcism back up again, I could feel that a bit more.
I just love where Ramses is playing, though. He's constantly cutting mid lane. He has the ward protecting him up top, and he can just play this Ancient Hill, so effectively he controls the entire top jungle. And if the OD just runs up a hill blindly at some point, he will immediately feed.
Yep. I think that's where Ramses is headed. Putting down more webs so he can get closer towards Ori. He's just around the corner from him. So Ori will walk down into Ramses for half a second and then realize that's a bad idea once he sees the web.
Just really good positioning. Acting as a living ward is something a lot of cores don't really do.
Okay, he's in the Firefly. I thought for a moment if Ramses was able to get the Orchid off before the Firefly came up, that it's just the death of 11.
And I love the web control from Ramses. It's so good. He has the ability to farm 2 Ancients and cut this wave. And like, you look at it, it's a perfect line towards the enemy jungle. So with web saved, he can effectively cut to either bottom, but most likely top, where they can play around this ward for the tower and for Roche.
That Ice Blast shouldn't connect, right? It's, yeah, it's too short. They have the Observer Ward up, but you need to throw that all the way back to base bottom lane. Rogers on the run. The Swarm will not be able to connect, but the Urn making it difficult for him. He doesn't have Sandstorm, he doesn't have Burrow Strike, so they stomp him into sleep, and Paparazzi and Chikuchi his way through the SK to find the kill. Meanwhile, up on top, no one and Pasha adding a lot of pressure to the tier 2 tower, so there is a rebuttal.
Yep, and there's a Broodmother just camping the shrine. How do you really contest this if you're Vici? There's still a ward up for 37 seconds. And the issue again, so yeah, they get a kill bottom, but who can translate that kill into an objective? It's not a Weaver.
They have nothing apart from just sitting there watching, and 11 walks underneath the Observer Ward. He's got no information about that hillside. No one can just set up with the Yule Scepter. Ramsey's ready. Here comes your Ice Blast. Off onto the Bat Rider, and he just explodes.
Oh.
Also, petition to